I was just floating. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So during our final year, I was in class and one of our lecturers is the pathological lecturer then said, "Oh, one of you, I met one of you who was my student. She is now a bank manager at First Bank." I said, "Ah, so you can move from here to bank manager, oh, Barry. It has ended though." My name is Florence Chikezie, and I'm passionate about entrepreneurship. I'm passionate about helping entrepreneurs run sustainable businesses. I actually also want to be a role model for young ladies to really know that it is possible for them to be more. I've always known that as a child that I wanted to like run a business empire, but what I didn't know was the type of business that I wanted to run. So if I give you an instance, right from high school, this is secondary school here, when you look at it in Nigeria, when you give someone pocket money, I always saved a lot out of it. So when I was in JS1, we are giving like 300 naira. I think as we progress, we are now giving 8,000 naira. From that 300 naira, after paying your tithes, I made sure like I saved up to half of it. Somehow I was putting that money down because I just knew that being financially dependent was good. And then because I also knew I wanted to start a business and I didn't want capital to be a constraint. So what I did was, school didn't have like a bank. I had to meet the treasurer to say, can you be putting away my money? I know when I graduated and I went to collect my NICO and WAEC and I went there, I had more than 10,000 naira. Imagine like being 16, 17 and you had 10,000 naira of your own money. And then when I went to school, my first degree was in soccer. They had like very fine honey. When going home, I would buy some cakes, then go to my parents live in Aba. I would go to Aba, then go to Ariada Market, buy like fine cakes, repackage them, and sell. So I was selling through my mom's shop, through my father's contacts, and things like that. And I actually made good money. I was balling at the time. But then the thing is that I actually didn't even need the money. So, when young people are doing business and you think, okay, they're trying to use it to support themselves, it wasn't like that for me. Like my parents earned enough to put us through school to any length that we wanted. But there was just something about running my own business that was nice thing to have. I also remember when my parents, my mom especially, and my siblings would tease me when I'm bottling it, and it's actually like something that really made me happy. I tried to venture into different types of businesses, but after that, but nothing actually quite resonated with me. And why did I leave the honey business? At the time, it was as if there was just one announcement that everybody should start selling honey. So it became less profitable. And then I had to also go do my master's in London. So when I came back, I tried to start other businesses. Nothing really worked. I was looking for something impactful. And why I was looking for something impactful was that my friends would always come to me and they say, Florence, what type of business can I start with 100,000? Florence, what type of business can I start with 500,000 naira? And you tell them and you say, can you go on Google and check the rest? And then what you hear is that what they have on Google is all these Uyibo ideas. So I started moonlighting, and what that means is that in the evening when I come back from work, I would write about some ideas I share with my friend, and then we put it out. And we saw that people were reading this content. That's just how I started. And I started it at ReDahlia.com. Already had ReDahlia registered, ReDahlia International Limited registered. I was trying to do another business which didn't work out. So I started writing, and before you know it, we had a growing audience of people who were reading our business content at ReDahlia.com. And then at one particular time, let's say in 2016, we decided to launch the brand physically. And what happened was that we were hosting this event at Oriental Hotels, spending our money. We didn't get sponsors, but we wanted something in return. We wanted valid feedback of what is it that entrepreneurs want. And it's from that they told us they wanted a co-working space. And they also told us where they wanted the space. That's why we set up the co-working. So that's how like the journey started.
When you were going to study in school, university, both
As an
undergraduate
undergraduate.
and postgraduate, like, did you go after something that would support the passion you already had?
Actually, I wanted to be a medical doctor. Really,
Interesting.
my first degree wasn't business. Actually, I studied vet, my first degree.
Yeah.
So because I was supposed to transition from vet to medicine, right? And I wrote JAMB until my final year, like
Whoa.
because I wanted to get into Nsoka, but I was getting admissions to study medicine in other universities that I didn't. I got in Abraka, Delta State. I got in Ibinedion. I didn't want those schools, but when I went for my IT, it's vets, you deal with, it's like you deal with animals. And when they bring these animals and you are injecting them, or we are operating on them, you find out that the drugs kind of intoxicates me, so like I'm passing out. So I'm like,
reacting.
how on earth am I going to be a medical doctor
When you
with
can't
this
even
when I can't
withstand
even
drugs.
do this thing? So that's
Wow.
what I wanted to do. So I was now at limbo, like I was just floating. I didn't know what I wanted to do with my life. So during our final year, I was in class, and one of our lecturers is the pathological lecturer then said, oh, one of you, I met one of you who was my student. She is now a bank manager at First Bank. I say, so you can move from here to bank manager. Oh, Mary, it has ended though. So that after the class, I went to his office. I sat in front of his office. I was waiting for this man the whole day. I want to find out how is it that it's possible that you move from vet and you become a bank manager. That phase I didn't see him. The next day I went back until the third day. He gave me audience and I said, how? How is this possible? He said that if your grades are really good, that you can proceed to not do a master's direct, you can do a postgraduate PGD in management. I never got B again in my result. It was AA because I knew that when they now say your grade must be good. I studied so hard, and then I was then able to get into management in PGD at UNEC. Then from that, I then went to go do masters in international business. So that's it. I never really wanted um, to be in business, but when what I wanted didn't work, I looked at myself, what else can I really do outside of medicine? Business comes to me naturally, just from the family background. So that's the next other thing I could have done.
Yes. Information truly is power, because just imagine like it's nice, like when people say they are studying hard to come out with good grades, they are probably doing so because they want to get into the job in that field. But now I'm hearing this is quite unconventional. They are preparing to leave what you're currently learning. It's nice to know. So that's a good way to go. Now let's talk about you getting into business. Right, you were able to put your ideas out there and people embraced it for you to form a community, and you started to make ReDahlia a legal business. So let's move on from there. Where did you go from there after serving your friends?
Okay, so after writing the content on ReDahlia.com, this was 2015. Then we moved to 2016. We hosted the events and got the insights that they needed a co-working space. So when we started the co-working space, one thing that is really key for people who run businesses or who want to run businesses is that you need to be actually have the ability to actively listen to your customers. So when we started, we said part of the thing criteria to use as space, we didn't want anybody to put us into trouble. Like you come and use our space, you are not a registered business, and you come and use our space and do something illegal when we started. So we wanted the people who use our space to be really reputable businesses, and part of the criteria for here is that your business has to be registered with CAC. So we are asking, oh yeah, show us your business registration documents, and people were saying it was difficult for them to get registered. It's taken 6 months, it was taking 3 months. So we found out we could do it. That's how we started the business registration. It's like flay. They say just turn to business, right?
Right. You were doing this with your friends then,
No,
yeah?
no, I'd already moved to Lagos
Okay.
in this co-working space. So we moved from there as people were registering their businesses, and some people were also using a co-working space. We also started listening again. What is it that entrepreneurs want? Some of them, once they finish, they need their branding done. They need professional emails. And then also trying to still listen. What else? When they register, they say they need a corporate bank account. We can open a bank now. We don't have the capability to open a bank. What else can we do? We had to look for a bank to partner with. We've partnered with Zenith Bank to help them open corporate bank accounts. So we're always listening, and to say where we can't really do it, fulfill it, we try to bring in a partner to help us fulfill it. And then another interesting thing happened. We had people come to use our space, and their businesses were failing as well. And then that meant that for we need to go out and get new clients to use our workspaces, which wasn't really nice. And then you can also see, even without being too close to them, the things that they are doing wrong. So we got people who every time, like, they are buying food, they are buying cars for all their clients, and they could not even, for all their employees, they are buying food, they are buying cars for all their employees, and they could not even pay for a space. So we just then thought that money wasn't the only challenge that entrepreneurs have. Most of them, they don't have the right knowledge to really start and grow their businesses. So that's why we started the business clinic. So we then started this 3 days business school, and because I passed through a business school, we kind of remodel like the important courses that you should go through in a business school. So your strategy, operation, marketing, legal, accounting, and funding. So that's what we do for 3 days for them, and then 1 month mentorship. After the 1 month mentorship, we still don't want it to be transactional, because most people, when they start businesses, it's really probably procrastination, probably fear, probably they've tried a little and they don't have the willingness or the grit to really continue. So we don't want it to be transactional. We want to also make sure that once you do any type of business with us, even if you don't do, or you look forward to becoming very successful in your business, that you can have access to a community that you can bank on. So we do that through the WhatsApp group. We do that through our monthly events, which happens every first Friday of the month, called the Entrepreneurs.ng meet. So ReDahlia pretty much has like 3 businesses. ReDahlia Workspaces, which is the co-working space, 43 Biemina Crescent of the Street. Then Entrepreneurs.ng is where we have resources, our courses, our books, and free ones that can help you start your business. Then we now have the ReDahlia Academy, which is where we train, consult, and we actually also try to reach and have like presence through different touch points, social media, Instagram, YouTube, just making sure that wherever you are, you have the right knowledge. So instead of, while people are entertaining you with comedy and everything, you learn, you get entertained with comedy. You also learn, if you want to be serious with your life and start a business, our content is also there for you in different ways for you to consume. We have a very strong growing across social media. These people see our content like on a daily basis, and aggregately across all social media, we are nearing around 100,000 people who have like, now email marketing, we got about 5,000 people who receive our content. And then yearly on entrepreneurs.ng, we have around 600 100,000 people visit that yearly. But then physically, the people who we have physical contact with, Entrepreneurs.ng meet, we have around 40 entrepreneurs coming to talk about their businesses organically. And then the business clinic, we've trained around 500 entrepreneurs. We've registered over 3,000 businesses. And these are like, for us to register your business, we have contact with you, your email, we corresponded with you. So at different points, we touch different people. And then our community, we are the WhatsApp community, we've got over 250 entrepreneurs there.
The way you're talking about it, business is sweet. I'm not yet convinced. Business looks like a very sweet thing to do, but I believe there
It's
are
not
high
that sweet.
points.
So there are
Yes, there
sometimes
are
that
high points and there are low points.
when you see me with my makeup, maybe when you see us doing those videos, you may not know that probably that night I might have cried and used makeup to cover it. So it's not as sweet as it's not as glamorous as social media portrays it. Actually,
Now
that's the
that
truth.
is where we should. I want us to talk about, because sometimes when we want to encourage somebody to go after what they want to go after without the fears, we somehow leave out some of the challenges they will meet on the way. So, from your experience of running successful businesses, yeah, can you mention some of the challenges that you faced, you've overcome, and you've learned from?
Okay, so there are just a lot, but I will talk about the challenges and I will also talk about like the benefits so that someone watching doesn't just feel that, oh, this thing I can't do it. But before I talk about it, I feel that the first thing to really even say is that entrepreneurship is not for everyone. There are different paths to creating wealth. As long as you are fulfilled, as long as you're happy doing what you do, if you're finding fulfillment working in your 9 to 5, by all means do it. If you want to invest, but then if you then really decide that you want to start and run a business, that's where we come in to make sure that you can do it right. So starting, there are a little bit of some challenges. So if you're just starting out and you don't have the funding to start your business, then you bootstrap. Bootstrapping on its own is not for the faint-hearted. It's not for people who cannot give up the
Pleasure.
pleasures of this time for future reward. So in bootstrapping, you will need to really cut down on your lifestyle to be able to even make money. You need to learn different skills. I remember when I came to Lagos, like I was used to eating mama cars like fast food. At the time, I couldn't afford it. I had to be eating like mama put, and this mama put is not as if I will eat it 3 times. So it's like twice, and it's not as if I didn't have money in my bank account. I had money, but things really skyrocketed. So we needed to buy a 50 kV gen. We already budgeted that it was 2 million, but when I came to Lagos, it was 2016, the first time that's one of the times that dollar sky rocketed, right? We moved from 2 million to 6 million. So I could not afford any luxury. I could any small money that you put out. And then I also believe that that's how I run my business anyway. I believe that you have to really have something down. So I don't want to be shaking that I don't have salaries for like 6 months. So all those things had to be done. If you pinch on anything, then so that bootstrapping thing, learning skills, some skills that you would have really outsourced or pay people to do, you have to learn to do them by yourself because you can't afford to do it. It's also good because it makes you really versatile and you're able to multitask, which is something that you did for me. And then you also have to work with people. That's also another challenge. There's always the quest to really find the right people who believe in the vision of the company. Sometimes you get beaten. That's something everybody who wants to be an entrepreneur need to know. But then you actually don't let those setbacks with dealing with people keep you down, because at the end of the day, if you have those kind of experience, you tend to like toughen up, and when people see you act in different ways, they wouldn't really know the background, the experiences. But then actually try to do and make sure that in the course of running business that I don't lose my humanity. That's also another thing. And then there's always the point that you get to, and you know that at this point, like we've really pretty much like done what we want to do. We need to scale. So that fear of should I scale, should I pivot, what should I do, is always that constant. And also that drive, people looking up to you, to there we've built a community that looks up to us. We must not make a mistake. You have a team that look up to you. You should not make mistake. There's just that constant thing of really trying to be the best that you can. That's part of the challenges, but you keep doing it because that's what you've signed up to do, right? And then you also know that somehow when building a business, something has to give because you're putting a lot of time into this thing. Your social life kind of also suffers as well.
I was going to ask that you've gotten very creative at what you're doing, and I don't know where that came from. Sometimes there will be a difference between somebody that's running a business that is enlightened or educated, and somebody that is running a business and is not educated or enlightened. I don't know where yours is coming from, but I noticed that you've gotten creative with everything you're doing with Entrepreneurs.ng or ReDahlia.com. So, what would you say influenced that? The ideas you are bringing into your business, how you reach out to people, what would you say influenced your creativity when it comes to bringing ideas to what you do?
And so some if you know who you are, like you tend to really put your best foot forward. So if you're not, I'm not Florence Otedola. Like I don't have those kind of surnames, you know. So if you don't have that, then you have to be creative. So we realized that we don't have a lot of marketing budgets for to do the things that we need to do. So initially, when we started, when you say things, you'll be like, oh, you can do it. So we want to go and price billboard. Then they were telling us that it's 6 million. So I don't even know who was giving us that motivation to go and be pricing those things. So when we realized, we cannot do this one, no. And prior to starting ReDahlia, you cannot actually see my digital footprint. Like I'm very, very conservative like that. You can't find me online, but I just knew that all those conservativeness, that shareness has to actually be thrown out of the door because there are people who are looking up to you, like I said, to succeed. Your team members are looking up to you, the bills are there. And then I also feel that I've got a message that the world needs to hear because I believe that entrepreneurship is actually the key to our economic problems. So what I decided to do was then put my face out there. So I became the face of the brand. And in sharing our content, there are different ways. We just do it on the go. So sometimes I could be advertising in Pidgin. If you want structure your business, the number one thing where you go do now to register them with CAC. As long as I'm not twerking, as long as as long as like I can be creative in it. I started finding out recently that I have a lot of drama. Like normally people, when you see me, you're like this reserved, conservative person, but I found out that I can actually act. How can we put it all together into business? So it's being creative, it's being like working around what you have. And then when I was also growing up, a classmate told me that I've got like corn tooth. So I didn't used to smile, but somebody told me in 2012, my friend, we were trying to take a picture, and she was like, smile. I said, no, 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 no. And so when I have to smile, I'll just do like, I didn't used to smile. So she was, bring out your teeth. So I did. And she was like, oh, it's nice. The next time I tried it again and it was nice. So What then happened when I realized that I actually have
I'm
one
very
of the
sad of
most
it.
beautiful,
As in,
like how can I even deny the world the pleasure of my smile? So I started smiling more.
Mhm.
And most times people register their businesses, they be like, because of this smile, let me kukuma do
Interesting.
business. And then the way we talk about something serious as business, as entrepreneurship, you really you talk about it with your personality showing, makes people want to have hope that they can, the business is easy. As I'm talking about it now, you think it's easy. So that's the
Yeah.
thing. So we're creative with our content. We
Mhm.
are using content marketing across board.
Mhm.
That has been our strength. So if you go on Google and you have to start POS business, chances are our content will be like on the first page of Google. People find it and then they will come to do business with us. When you go on YouTube, people find it, they'll come to do business with us. And now we are building like authority in that space that people can look up and they say, okay, I want to invite someone to come and speak on this topic, and they invite us. So, for instance, beginning of the year, BBC World News reached out. How did they find us? They were looking for entrepreneurs in Nigeria, and my name popped up on Google. So, being just very intentional is what we do to really reach more people.
You mentioned how you had to put yourself a lot into this business so that it can work. And that's one of the things somebody going into business should think about. But how do you draw the line between you, your business, and your personal life?
And so I'm very, very intentional about that. Like if you're looking for what's happening in my personal life, you won't find that. So it's all business. I also know that as you grow your community, they may want to really feel that they know you. They want to know what is happening in your life. But then you also have loved ones that you also care about, that you want to shield, because the online community can actually be very brutal for someone who does not have a thick skin. So that in mind just helps me to really draw the line. What do you want? Do you want to learn how to grow your business? I can give it to you. Aside of that, I don't think I can give you any other thing. I feel that work-life balance, personally, I feel that is a myth. Like you can't just have it with what I do, really. Like I don't have a 9 to 5, I work all the time. But there is something called work-life integration.
Okay.
So I try to integrate my life now into my work and integrate work into life. So that means that so if I have friends around, my
Mhm.
friends understand like what I do, and we can have conversation in between my work without it stopping us to having fun, or. So it also um, helps to have friends who are also entrepreneurs. So while you people are trying to have work-life balance, you can chip in business discussions, and it's not out of the way for you guys to do that. Yeah, really, that's it.
Finally, I would want you to give some words out there to somebody that wants to do. Some people have like that idea. They have been successful in things, but they don't know how to teach people. So, what words will you want to give to those people? Because people have learned from you, from your experiences, and it's helping them. How would you encourage people that know what they are doing and they wish they could impact it? What way can they go about that to impact the knowledge that they already have?
Okay, so for for people who have knowledge, and they want to impart that knowledge, I feel that this time in Nigeria is the best time for knowledge entrepreneurs, because people want to really learn. There's that quest, there's high rate of unemployment. If you really have something, a knowledge that you want to share, this is the best time to share it. If you feel okay, I am shy, I cannot share it, you also remember that someone like me was shy. But then it's actually really trying to really understand what knowledge do I have, first of all, that I have to share. So probably I've been working as an accountant in an organization, and I know how to set up systems and processes for people. That just articulating that. Probably you've been working as a PR person, and there are people that you feel that they can do a better job at their how they present themselves and how they communicate their brands. So the first thing is to identify what is it that you can actually teach and have a clear message, so that when people look at you, they know that this is what you are standing for. That's one. Then the second thing is to identify the people that you want to hear this message. Where are they? Where do they spend their time? Are they like very young people? Are they on TikTok? So when you identify where they are, then you now begin to talk about how. How. So we've talked about platform. Then how are you going to be shooting? Do you want to write? Which what works for you. So whatever works for you, the most important thing is not what you're doing, is being consistent. So if you decide to say, I'm going to be writing every day, I don't want to be showing my face, then are you going to be consistent? And another thing is, what does consistency mean to you? Consistency is not coming today and you write 10 articles, then you don't write again until 600 years, or you do like 10 videos today, you don't. So consistency could be once a week. As long as you show up every week, people get to know that you're showing up every week. It could be 4 times a day, but are you going to be consistent 4 times a day? So choose a medium, choose the type of format that it's going to be, and be consistent in it. When you start off, it could be as if people are not seeing it, but rest assured that they are seeing it. So actually, they want to see whether they're even praying that you don't post again, that the thing dies off. And some people are actually even rooting for you and trying to see what was she about, what is he about. Let's just see what was this. But if you consistently do it, then you begin to like have a voice. And then before you know it, when they're looking for someone, a thought leader in that space, you're the go-to person for them to call.
Thank you very much, Florence, for that exciting and engaging conversation.